Hello everyone, welcome to lecture series on power system protection. Myself Rajeshwari Nananavar, working as assistant professor in the Department of Electrical and Electronics Engineering, KLS VDIT Halyal. Today we are dealing with third module, lecture number 21. In previous lecture we discussed protection of the generator. In that, stator as well as the rotor protection were discussed. Generator stator protection, we discussed the three different protective schemes: percentage differential protection, protection against the stator interturn faults, as well as stator overheating protection. Whereas for the rotor protection, we discussed the field ground fault protection, loss of excitation protection, and protection against the rotor overheating. In percentage differential protection, depending upon the polarity of the CTs, under normal operating condition, the current flowing through the operating coil will be in a opposite direction, hence cancel each other. So relay is not going to operate. Under faulty conditions, the current flowing in the operating coil of the CT of that particular respective phase is going to be in the same direction. So the difference between those two is going to energize the tripping coil of the relay. Whereas in the protection against the stator interturn faults, so this is because of the failure of the insulation, because of the overheating. So the interturns or the conductors placed in the same slot may get damaged, so because of which stresses is going to be increased. So a protective scheme which is provided for such a system we have discussed. And stator overheating protection, here we will be making use of the Wheatstone bridge along with the temperature resistive indicator. So it may be either a thermistor or a thermocouple we were used. So under balanced condition, all the four arms values will be same, so no current flows through the operating coil of the relay, so the relay is not going to operate. When the temperature overheating occurs and the temperature measured will be more, unbalancing of the bridge occurs and current flows through the operating coil, so the relay is going to operate. So this is about the protection of the stator part. Moving on to the rotor protection. So field ground, as we already know, the field is not connected to ground, only a single fault, ground fault, is not going to affect the performance of the rotor part. So because of the failure of the insulation, the rotor, because of these field ground fault protection, the fluxes produced may get hamper. The unbalancing of the flux produced may takes place, unbalancing of the magnetic force may takes place, because of which shaft may get eccentric, or because of which the vibrations may occur in the generators. So to avoid this condition, the schematic arrangement what we have discussed, what we have shown, so that we have discussed for the field ground, where the between the field and the ground, so we have provided a DC voltage, we have impressed the DC voltage. When the normal condition, no current flows through the relay. So under faulty conditions, the current flows through the relay, hence the relay gets energized. So the loss of excitation, here instead of acting as a generator, if the loss of excitation takes place, the generator acts as an induction generators. And for the protection against the rotor overheating, so the schematic which is provided, that also we have discussed in a previous lecture. Now moving on to the today's lecture, today we are going to discuss the another important equipment of the power system, that is a transformer, protection of the transformer. So today we are going to learn the percentage differential protection for the transformer as well as the Buchholz relay. So after this lecture, the students will have a better understanding of principle of transformer protection. So what are the different types of faults that occur in the transformer, how the protective scheme employed for the transformer, what is the meaning of percentage differential protection, how it is going to operate, what is a Buchholz relay, for what purpose these Buchholz relay is introduced into the transformer, what is the principle of these Buchholz relay. So all these points the students are going to understand after this lecture. As per the Bloom's taxonomy, the today's concept comes under the remember and understanding category, levels L1 and L2. Now first we'll start with the transformer and bus zone protection. Actually this is the last part of your third module. So we'll start with the introduction to this transformer and bus zone protection. First we'll discuss what is the meaning of transformer protection, and then we'll go for the protection of the transformer scheme. The power transformer is a major and very important equipment in a power system. So as we already know, so the generated voltage in the generating station is only 11 kilovolt. So it is not economical to supply such a voltage. So in order to increase the voltage level for the transmission purpose, so we need to make a step up. We need to increase the voltage level. For that we'll be making use of a step up transformers, and that will be and the stepped up voltage will be transmitted through the transmission line. Well, for the coming for the distribution side, so that voltage is not suitable for the distribution. Too high value of the voltage will be there. Again we need to make of reduce the voltage. For that we'll be making use of a step down transformer. So like this, in each and every part of the transformer, these generators are playing a very vital role for the stepping up as well as for the stepping down the voltage. So protection of these transformers is also playing a very vital role in case of a protection of the complete power system. It requires a highly reliable protective devices. The protective scheme depends on the size of the transformer, whether a small size, medium size, a large size. Depending on that, the protective devices are also going to vary. The protective scheme depends on the size of the transformer. For small transformers, simple protective devices such as the fuses are employed. For medium size transformer, overcurrent relays, that already we have discussed, so those are devices. Whereas for the larger size transformer, the differential protection is used. So this is about the introduction to the protection of the transformer. Then we'll move on to the just little bit introduction to the bus zone protection. So this includes besides the bus bar itself, all the apparatus connected to the bus bar, such as the circuit breaker, disconnecting switches, instrument transformers, and bus sectionalizer, reactors, etc. Though the occurrence of bus zone faults are rare, but experience shows that bus zone protection is a highly desirable in large and important stations. So the clearing of a bus fault requires the opening of all the circuit branching from the faulted bus. So the detailed analysis of bus zone protection is there in the next lecture. So there we are going to study in detail. So for here today we'll concentrate on the protection of the transformer. So first let us discuss what are the different types of faults that occurs in the transformer. Types of faults encountered in the transformer. The faults encountered in transformer can be placed in two main groups. One is the external group, external faults, or they are also called as the through faults, and the second one is the internal faults. So depending upon the location where the fault has been occurred, so they will be classified as the external faults as well as the internal faults. External fault, in external faults the transformer must be disconnected if other protective devices meant to operate for such faults fail to operate within a predetermined time. Okay, so in case of any external faults beyond the zone of the transformer, if anything goes wrong, if any fault occurs, then the protective devices are failed to operate, then we need to disconnect the transformer also. So these are the external faults of the transformer. For external faults, time graded overcurrent relays are employed as a backup protection. So as we have already discussed in our previous lectures, that time graded system, so from distribution towards the source side, so we'll be giving the operating time of the relay in an increasing order. So the time graded overcurrent relays are used as a backup protection in this external fault. In case of a sustained overload condition, the transformer should not be allowed to operate for a long duration. Thermal relays are used to detect the overload condition and give an alarm. Now we will move on to the internal faults. What are the internal faults? The primary protection of a transformer is meant for internal faults. Whatever we are discussing, it's basically deals with the internal protection of the transformer. Internal faults are classified into two groups. Short circuits in the transformer winding and connection. As we already know, we have a primary as well as the secondary windings in the transformer. So short circuiting in those windings is again a important fault which causes very severe effect in the transformer. So those are classified under the internal faults. These are electrical faults of a serious nature and are likely to cause immediate damage. Such faults are detectable at the winding terminals by unbalanced in voltage or a current. This type of faults include LG, line to ground fault, line to line fault, and interturn faults on the HV and LV windings. Then one more we have is the incipient faults. Initially, these incipient faults are minor in nature but slowly might develop into a major faults. Such faults include poor electrical connection, core faults, failure of a coolant, regulator faults, and bad load sharing between the transformer. So the meaning of these incipient faults is nothing but initially the effect of these faults is not measurable. Okay, they are not going to hamper the operation of the transformer. So over a period of time, these incipient faults will come into a picture where it may cause a greater damage to the operation of the transformer. So such faults are called as the incipient faults. Initially their role is very less, as and the time passes they becomes very severe. They are going to create a lot of problem in the performance of the transformer. So such faults are called as the incipient faults. So example of these faults are nothing but the poor electrical connections between the windings, core faults, failure of the coolant, regulator faults, etc. So these are some of the incipient faults which may arise in the transformer. Now we'll move on to the protective scheme which is employed for the transformer, known as a percentage differential protection. Okay, so this is used for the protection of a large power transformers having a rating of 5 MVA and above. So large transformer of the rating 5 MVA and above. So these differential protection transformers are used. Percentage differential protection system is used. This scheme is employed for the protection of a transformer against internal short circuits. So what we have discussed in a previous slide, the two internal faults, the short circuiting as well as the incipient. So that is very important we need to provide. So in order to provide the protection against the internal short circuit, the percentage differential protective scheme is used. It is not capable of detecting incipient faults. So figure shows schematic diagram of percentage differential protection for the star delta transformer. The direction of current and polarity of a CT voltage shown in figure are for the particular instant. The convention for marking the polarity for a upper and lower CTs is same. The current entering end has marked as positive. The end at which current is leaving has been marked negative. So this is a diagram which shows the percentage differential protection for the star delta transformer. Here, as you can see, the polarities of the CTs are shown. For one particular instant we have shown the polarity. Both the CTs are of a same polarity, as you can observe here. So the current flowing through these windings, this is a delta connection and this is a star connection. Windings we have, these are the IA, IB, IC are the phase currents for the delta connection, and these are IA, IB, IC for the star connection, and the three relays having the operating coil as well as the restraining coils are shown. O is represented as the operating coil, R is for the restraining coil. Okay, so this is a connection, and between the phases the current flow direction is also shown, IA minus IC, IC minus IB, IB minus IA. Okay, and similarly for this side also IC minus IB, IB minus IA, IA minus IC. So like this the differential current which is shown between the phases, which is for a particular instant has been shown. So first here we need to understand the polarity as well as the current direction. O and R are the operating coil and the restraining coils of the relays. The connections are made in such a way that under normal operating conditions or external or through faults, the current flowing in the operating coil of the secondary due to CTs of the primary side is in opposition to the current flowing due to the CTs of the secondary side. Hence, the relay does not operate under such conditions. So what happens here? You just observe, under normal operating condition the current flowing in each phase is opposite. So the current flowing here, you just observe for some instant from this side the current flowing is taken as a IA minus IC, which is flowing in a downward direction, whereas because of this delta star connection, the current flowing will be taken as a IA minus IC, which is in a upward direction. So you just observe the flow of a current over here. So here you can observe. So like this, it is moving, going in this direction, whereas this is coming in this direction. Just observe the arrow mark over here. So these arrow marks. So the current flowing in the operating coil of the relay is opposite to each other. Okay. So under normal operating condition, the current flowing in the operating coil of the relay due to the CTs of the primary side is in opposite to that current flowing due to the CTs of the secondary side. Hence, the relay does not operate under such condition because the opposite currents cancels each other. So, no current flows through the relay operating coil. If fault occurs on the winding, the polarity of the induced voltage of the CTs of the secondary side is reversed. Now, currents in the operating coil from CTs of both primary and secondary side are in the same direction and causes the operation of the relay. Okay. So under any fault occurs, okay, so as and when the fault occurs, automatically the current flow will be in same direction. Okay, so because of the same current flowing in the same direction, so difference between these two is going to energize the operating coil of the relay. The polarity of the relays is going to change when wherever there is a faulty occurs, to which phase there is a fault occurs, automatically that particular current is going to change its polarity, and automatically the current flowing in this operating coil is going to be in the same direction. The difference between those two currents is going to energize the operating coil of the relay, and relay gets energized. So if fault occurs on the winding, the polarity of the induced voltage on the CT of the secondary side is reversed. Now, currents in the operating coil from CTs of both primary and secondary side are in the same direction and cause the operation of the relay. So, to supply the matching current in the operating winding of the relay, the CT which are on the star side of the transformer are connected in delta, and CTs which are on the delta side of the transformer are connected in star. In case of a star delta connected transformer, there is a phase shift of 30° in line currents. Now we'll move on. This is about the internal faults, that is because of the short circuiting. It may be line to line fault, it may be a line to ground fault, or whatever the internal faults that may occur in the transformer. So for that we have a percentage differential protection. This system we will be using. Now we'll move on to the important section of the transformer protection, a very important concept known as a Buchholz relay. So this is a relay which is used for the protection of the transformer against the incipient faults. So what we have discussed just now, the faults which are minor during the initial time period, and as the time passes, due course time, these faults becomes very severe and damage the performance of the transformer, or damage the transformer itself. So though in order to prevent such a faults, the Buchholz relay has been used. So moving on to this Buchholz relay, it is a gas actuated relay used to detect the incipient faults which are initially minor faults, but many may cause major faults in due course of time. The Buchholz relay is used to supplement biased differential protection of the transformer, because Buchholz relay cannot necessarily detect short circuits within the transformer or at the terminals. It is not used for the detection of the internal faults such as a short circuit. So it is basically designed for the detection of the incipient faults. When fault develops slowly, it produces a heat, thereby decomposing solid or a liquid insulating material in the transformer, which produces inflammable gases. Okay, so the main basic operating principle of this Buchholz relay. So as and when there is a fault develops in the transformer, okay, so because of these faults, so heat has been produced, so decomposing a solid or liquid insulating material. So whatever the insulating material, it may be with the oil. So here basically we'll be dealing with the oil. liquid insulating material oil in the transformer, which produces the inflammable gases. Because of the decomposition of these insulating material, a gases has been formed. The Buckwald's relay gives an alarm when the specified amount of gas is being formed. The analysis of the gas collected in the relay chamber indicates the type of the incipient fault. What type of a fault has been initiated in the transformer, so that will be identified with the help of a type of a gas collected. Okay, so with the analysis of that collected gas, the type of the fault has been analyzed. So if the gas collected in the Buckwald's relay chamber is of a different types, so here we have a list of 4 different combination of the gases. If the gas is of C2H2 and main here is a hydrogen. Okay, C2H2 and H2 shows arcing in a oil between a constructional parts. If the presence of the gas content, whatever the gas is accumulated, the content of that gas is C2H2 and H2, so that shows the arcing in the oil between the constructional parts. If the presence of C2H2, CH4 and H2 shows arcing with some deterioration of phenolic insulation, deterioration of the insulation, example fault in the tap changer. Okay, so if the presence of the component of the gases is CH4, C2H4 and H2, it indicates hot spots in the core junction. So because of the continuous heating, so hot spots are being formed, so that indicates hot spot in the core junctions, core joints. Then if the presence of a content is C2H4, C3, H6, H2 and CO2, which shows a hot spots in the winding. Okay, so depending upon these component, okay, gas components, analysis of these gases going to reveal what type of a fault has been occurred in the transformer. So there is a chamber to accommodate Buckwald's relay in between a transformer tank and a conservator, as shown in the figure. So here if I want to show you figure, so this is a conservator what we have, and this is a transformer tank. So between these conservator and the transformer tank, so here is my Buckwald's relay. So we are going to place these Buckwald's relay between the conservator and the transformer. There is a chamber, there is a chamber to accommodate Buckwald's relay in between transformer tank and the conservator, as shown in the figure. A simple diagram to explain the operating principle is shown in figure 2. When gas accumulates, the oil level falls down and thus float also comes down. It causes an alarm to sound and alert the operator. For reliable operation, mercury switch is attached with a float. Some manufacturers use an open tapped bucket. When oil level falls because of gas accumulation, the bucket is filled up with the oil. Thus, the force available to operate the contact is greater than with a hollow plate. So what happens here? This is a conservator, as I already mentioned. This is a transformer tank. Between these two, with the help of a pipe, in between these two we are fixing up this Buckwald's relay. And these Buckwald's relay will consisting of one alarm indicator as well as the trip signal. Okay, so these, because of the incipient faults, the gases heating takes place, and because of which decomposition of the insulation material takes place. Okay, so because of which the formation of the gases will be occurred. So those gases, because of those gases, the depending upon the composition of those gas, the type of the fault will be analyzed. Okay, so the main part of these gases will be hydrogen, so which is lighter in nature, so automatically moves upwards, so settles at the upper part of this transformer tank. Okay, and these Buckwald's relay is fitted between these two in such a manner a straight pipe will be used. As you can see here, a straight pipe will be used here. Conservator will be at a little bit upper side, whereas a transformer tank will be at the lower side. Okay, lower height. So a straight pipe having an angle, so the angle between these, it will be a 10 to 11 degree. So the angle we need to make here for this pipe is approximately 10 to 11 degree for better performance. Okay, so as and when the gas accumulates at the top layers of these transformer tank, so that will be flow through this Buckles relay, okay, and automatically gives an signal alarm. Okay, how it is going to operate, so we'll explain now. The accumulated gas can be drawn off through the petcock via a pipe for the analysis to know the type of the fault. If there is for mercury attached fluid, when oil level falls because of the gas accumulation, the bucket is filled up with the oil. Thus, the force available to operate the contact is greater than with the hollow plate. So, what happens here? As and when Buckles relay, here when these gas will start accommodating over here, okay, so in this Buckles relay, as and when the gas starts accommodating, the oil level will start to come down. So here it is filled up with the oil, okay, so the oil level will start reducing, and as the gas is mainly consisting of the hydrogen, which is lightweight in nature, automatically moves upward. Okay, so as the oil level start decreasing, so these hollow float, as you can see here, hollow float, so it will try to come downwards. Okay, so here it will be better explained. So as the oil level start decreasing downward, so here the accumulation of the gas will be there, so because of which oil level decrement, this hollow will also start moving downwards, because of which these contacts will move upward and gives an signal to the gives an alarm to the operator. Okay, so this alarm indicates there is an internal fault has been occurred in the transformer. The function of the operator is to collect the oil sample, and he need to make an analysis what type of a fault has been occurred depending upon the composition of the gas formed. So the accumulated gas can be drawn off through the petcock via a pipe for analysis to know the type of the fault. If there is a severe fault, large volume of gases are produced which cause the lower float to operate. It finally trips the circuit breaker of the transformer. So if the fault is of a light in nature, it is of minor nature, only some amount of oil will be reduced, so gives a simple alarm to the operator. He need to check what type of a fault. If the fault type is very severe, then the large amount of oil will be immediately gets reduced, because of which the lower float, as you can see here, this lower float is also start moving downwards, coming downwards, so that this contact is going to be touching to this fixed contact and gives a tripping signal to the circuit breaker. Okay, so if a severe fault occur, then the lower float is also going to closes the contact and gives a tripping signal to the circuit breaker. So it finally trips the circuit breaker of the transformer. So the Buckles relay is a slow operating or the acting device. The minimum operating time is 0.1 second. The average time is 0.2 second. Too sensitive settings of the mercury contacts are not desirable because they are subjected to false operation on shock and vibration caused by conditions like earthquake, mechanical shock to the pipe, tap changer operation, and heavy external faults, etc. This can be reduced by improved design of the mercury contact tubes. So what happens in case, in sometimes what happens, so because of these vibrations, earthquake vibrations, because of all these, so the tank a little bit may get shake. Okay, so because of which oil is also getting shake, so because of which some bubbles or some gases will be released. So these contacts are not in a position, they will not be designed so that these bubbles are or these gases, whatever they have formed because of these earthquakes or the vibration. Okay, so because of which the contacts may get close and gives a alarm signal, so that should not happen. Okay, so a very clear, sensitive, what we can say, improved design of the mercury contact tubes need to be designed so that they are not giving alarm signal for such type of faults. So this is the Buchholz relay. The upper float gives the alarm signal, and if heavy fault, severe fault occurs in the transformer, then the lower float is also going to closes the contact and gives the tripping signal to the circuit breaker. So this is about the protection of the transformer against the incipient faults, or also known as a faults which are minor in earlier days, as and when the time passes becomes the very severe faults. Depending upon the gas composition, the type of the fault will be identified. Finally, moving on to the summary of the today's session. So today we discussed the transformer protection, in which the internal short circuit conditions or the faults will be detected, prevented with the help of a percentage differential protection, and the incipient faults are detected and gets protected with the help of a Buchholz relay. So please do concentrate on these Buchholz relay. Very important question from the exam point of view. 100% sure question, as I can say. So explain the construction and working of Buchholz relay used for the protection of the transformer. Please do refer the previous year question paper. So this Buchholz relay is there in the each and every year question paper. So please do concentrate. Explain the construction and working of Buchholz relay used for the protection of transformer. And for this section you can refer the textbook. Thank you. Have a nice day.